Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's space agency ISRO successfully launches two Prasar 3 mission satellites of the European Space Agency from Sriharikota for groundbreaking solar research. French President Emmanuel Macron is to address the nation a day after a no-confidence vote toppled his Prime Minister's government. Bhutan King Namgyel Wangchuck meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi during his two-day India visit. And Bitcoin tops $100,000 after Donald Trump picks crypto-friendly SEC chief to lead the country's security regulator. Now, the Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, has successfully launched Europe's Prasar 3 satellites into Earth's orbit. This groundbreaking mission is a collaboration between ISRO and the European Space Agency. The mission aims to demonstrate advanced formation flying technology with two satellites, the chronograph spacecraft and the occulter spacecraft. These satellites will work in tandem to create artificial solar eclipses, allowing scientists to study the sun's corona without any interference from its bright disk. The Prasar 3 mission is a significant collaboration marking the first satellite launch between the two agencies since 2001.
The PSLV C-59 Prasar 3 mission is successfully accomplished. The spacecraft has been placed in the right orbit, which is a very highly elliptical orbit of almost 600 km perigee. That's the closest point to Earth, and 60,000 kilometers at its apogee, the farthest point, and an inclination of 59 degrees. It has been precisely achieved by PSLV in its 61st mission. So congratulations to the entire PSLV project team as well as for Prasar team. And we wish all the very best to Prasar for their further operations and achieving the mission goals. Congratulations to both the teams.
Let me now take you across to my colleague, DD India's Anbarasan, joining us from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. How are you doing, Anbarasan? Must have been quite a moment to witness there in Sriharikota, the successful launch. Is everything still okay with the satellites? They've been placed in the orbit, and have they started functioning there as well?
Good evening, Gautam. And here, after launching the Prasar 3 mission, successfully after the 18th minutes, the Prasar 3 is separated successfully, and these two satellites will be separated after a few months only. So here in scientists of ISRO and also the European Space Agency both are very much happy, and also they accomplished the mission successfully. And this mission also focusing on the sun's corona and various solar mission level, and we are also collaborating with Aditya L1. In last year we launched that. So kind of this launch will be a significant one for both beneficial to European Space Agency and also India, because we are sharing, and also the knowledge share also happened. And this European Space Agency also, we have around 20 years of successful launch. The first Prasar 1 mission is launched on 2001, and this is the third mission in 2024. And this European Space Agency, kind of 22 comprising nations of European Union, successfully launched. So we can know that launching this kind of making a historic impact. Particularly, this is a double satellite, simultaneously launching a double satellite comprising together into the space, and nearly 600 kilometers in orbit. It is a kind of a longest one, and this is weighing nearly 550 kg, and PSLV XL format. This is also the 26th the format of PSLV XL. Also the successful carrier of PSLV, the Polar Launching Vehicle, that is carried nearly a 61st mission today successfully. That is what the ISRO chief Somnath also said. And it's a kind of boosting one, the ANSIL, the New India Space Limited, the commercial wing of ISRO. The chairman also said that, the MD also said that it is a boosting a connection between various commercial activities of ISRO. The Indian government, Union government has established that not only sending of satellites of India, but also sending of various satellites and also knowledge share between other countries. So we have successfully launched various countries including Africa and also African nations and also Australia, and this is from Europe. So we are very much happy, and after launching that, it will be giving a various inputs regarding sun's corona, the atmosphere of sun, and also it can make a on-demand solar eclipse. So the coronagraph satellites will assess the situation of sun's corona by making a artificial solar eclipse. Via that they can establish various research and developments for that. And this is also the upcoming missions for Aditya and Mangalyaan, various opportunities for ISRO. We can get a more info on that.
Certainly, certainly. The last collaboration between the European Space Agency and ISRO was in 2001. Hope the next one doesn't take that long. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Anwar Hassan. Now, the winter session of Parliament of India entered its 9th day on Thursday. In the Rajya Sabha, or the Upper House, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar, while replying to a question, clarified the stand of the government on issues related to Israel and Palestine. He said Israel has always been India's strong ally against terrorism, and added that since India is not a member of the International Criminal Court, it's not bound by any decisions regarding Israel and its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
India is not a member of the International Criminal Court. When the International Criminal Court was constituted, the question of our membership was considered. For very good reasons, after a great deal of deliberation, India decided not to become a member. So, with regard to any decision passed by the ICC, it is not binding on us. So, it is not a matter on which we have taken a formal position.
The External Affairs Minister also said that India gives importance to relations with Palestine and supports its status as a separate nation. He detailed India's support to Palestine and aid and grants given for the welfare of its people.
India has given assistance to the people of Palestine at this particular time. I would like, sir, through you to bring to the notice of the House that we make an annual contribution of $5 million to the UNRWA, which is the main assistance providing agency. This amount traditionally used to be $1 million. So during the time of under the decision taken by this government, it was raised from $1 million to $5 million.
And the Rajya Sabha also passed the Indian Aviation Bill 2024 through the day. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said that the Udan scheme has been a success story under Prime Minister Modi. Both houses of Parliament are adjourned for the day and will reconvene on Friday. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal addressed the ASSOCHAM Bharat at 100 Summit in New Delhi on Thursday. The theme of the summit was Fueling Bharat's Global Rise, aligned with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and driving the Make in India for the World campaign. The minister highlighted the importance of MSMEs, that's micro, small and medium scale enterprises, in supporting large industries, and emphasized the government's efforts to simplify processes and promote ease of doing business for MSMEs.
The country is evolving itself as we move along to try and make it easier to do business, try and simplify processes, reduce compliance burden, decriminalize the laws. All of these will be enablers which will help not only the MSMEs but all of us. And at the end of the day, as we do steps towards ease of doing business, those steps automatically lead to ease of living for all of us.
And speaking at the event, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said that US President-elect Donald Trump had a positive political view of India, and that would likely continue in his second term as well.
We'll have to work out also a political equation with America. And that, I think, is one area where we score, because we've always had a positive political relationship with Trump, and, I would say this, Trump has always had also a positive political view of India. It will not automatically translate into every transaction. So, like everybody else, we may also have some issues. We will deal with those issues. But I would say, when I look around the world today, there are countries who actually have, political, they are looking at the Trump 2.0 as a political challenge. We are not. And I think that separates us from a very large number of countries. So we are in a much more advantageous position to translate 2.0 into a deeper relationship.
Devendra Fadnavis took oath as Chief Minister of Maharashtra on Thursday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was present on the occasion, congratulated Devendra Fadnavis. BJP leader Fadnavis has been appointed as Chief Minister of Maharashtra for the third time now. Shiv Sena Chief Eknath Shinde along with NCP Chief Ajit Pawar took oath as Deputy Chief Ministers of Maharashtra as well. Russian President Vladimir Putin has praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi's India First policy and the Make in India initiative at the 15th VTB Russia Calling Investment Forum. President Putin acknowledged India's efforts to foster a stable environment for growth, emphasizing how these policies have contributed to India's development. He stressed that the Make in India initiative, aimed at boosting manufacturing and attracting foreign investment, has played a key role in strengthening India's position in the global economy.
Prime Minister Modi has a similar program, Make in India, and this is a very similar program to ours, and we would be ready to place our manufacturing sites in India. Also, the biggest investment in the Indian economy to the tune of $20 billion by Rosneft happened not long ago, and the Prime Minister of India and the government of India have been creating stable conditions. And this is because the Indian leadership has been pursuing India comes first policy, and we believe that investments in India are profitable.
Now, Bhutan King Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuck is in New Delhi on a two-day visit. The king met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday. Prime Minister Modi took to social media and said that he was delighted to welcome the King and Queen of Bhutan to India. Prime Minister Modi said that India remains committed to advancing the unique and enduring partnership between India and Bhutan. And later in the day, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar also called on the Bhutanese king. Both the leaders discussed the steady progress that India-Bhutan partnership has been making. He said that he values Bhutanese king's guidance for India-Bhutan's future growth. He also assured India's fullest support for the development goals of Bhutan. Kuwait's foreign minister has called India a very important partner and praised Prime Minister Modi, saying that the West Asian nation believes the Indian leader is one of the wisest persons in the world. Abdullah Ali Al Yahya is in India on an official visit that aims to strengthen the multifaceted relationship between the two countries. President of India, Draupadi Murmu, attended the 40th convocation ceremony of the Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology in Bhubaneswar on Thursday. Addressing the ceremony, the President said that climate change-related issues such as rising temperatures and greenhouse gases are affecting agricultural production. Agricultural scientists have an important responsibility to deal with all such issues. The President said the President, in fact, is on a 5-day visit to Odisha for various official programs. She is scheduled to inaugurate the new judicial court complex in Bhubaneswar later in the day. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Impeachment looms for South Korean President Yoon after his botched bid to impose martial law in the nation. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz claims Hamas is under a lot of military pressure in Gaza and a ceasefire-cum-hostages deal may get clinched this time around. And the OPEC Plus is meeting on Thursday and it seems likely to extend output cuts until the end of the first quarter of next year.
have with us Mr. Philippe Noyes from Australia. So when we talk about, first of all, the award, because you've been sharing a lot of stories about Satyajit Ray and what kind of inspiration you drew from the legend.
Satyajit Ray taught us to look for the heart, to make stories from the heart, to be small in scope but big in heart. You know, receiving this award named after that great filmmaker, it's humbling.
While our needs have expanded, the places where we live are becoming increasingly more and more vulnerable. Let's take a look at some of these ideas and examples of how this is being done.
We do traffic survey, basically traffic volume survey. Many intersection has now zero fatalities and injuries. The streets has zero dust pollution now.
Palmyra bags, it negates the destruction of the root structure because we do not remove these bags. Over a period of a few weeks, it gets totally degraded and mixes with the soil, which also avoids the plastic pollution.
Fish feces is known as sludge and can be used for plantain farming. This is how I started smart integrated farming, which didn't only help my plantain farming, but also all the other crops that I started to grow.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, French Prime Minister Michel Barnier arrived at the Élysée Presidential Palace, where he is expected to hand in his resignation on Thursday, after far-right and leftist lawmakers voted to topple his government, plunging the Eurozone's second-largest economy deeper into political crisis. Last night, French Prime Minister Barnier said that the no-confidence vote will make everything more difficult and that France's deficit problem will come back to haunt a future government. Barnier, a veteran politician who was formerly the European Union's Brexit negotiator, will be the shortest-serving Prime Minister in modern French history after he hands in his resignation. And the French President Emmanuel Macron will be addressing the nation on Thursday night, a day after Prime Minister Barnier was ousted in a no-confidence vote. Names for a new Prime Minister have been swirling before Barnier even tendered his resignation, including Defence Minister Sébastien Lecornu, Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau and centrist former presidential candidate François Bayrou. South Korea's parliament on Thursday formally introduced a motion to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol, setting the stage for a historic vote which could oust him following the failure of his short-lived attempt to declare martial law. Yoon's declaration of martial law late on Tuesday attempted to ban political activity and censor the media in South Korea. The shock move divided Yoon's ministers and unleashed 6 hours of political chaos. The impeachment motion against Yoon was reported to a plenary session that opened shortly after midnight in the early hours of Thursday morning. Following the introduction of the motion, a vote on impeachment must be held within 24 to 72 hours. Meanwhile, South Korean prosecutors have opened an investigation into President Yeol, his interior minister and the now former defense minister over their roles in an attempt to impose martial law. Kim Yong-hyun, who resigned as South Korean defense minister over his involvement in martial law order, also faces a travel ban as prosecutors investigate. The other two do not face any such ban. Also, demonstrators called for South Korean President Yoon and his impeachment outside the Parliament's building. Yoon's declaration of martial law has sparked outrage in the streets and concern among its international allies. Protesters also gathered in front of South Korea's National Assembly on Thursday as opposition lawmakers said they would vote this weekend to impeach President Yoon for his attempt to impose martial law. Yoon's declaration of martial law late on Tuesday sought to consolidate power, ban political activity and censor the media. It sparked outrage in the streets and concern among South Korea's international allies. Lawmakers of the opposition Democratic Party plan to seek a vote in Parliament to impeach Yoon on the 7th of December. Meanwhile, as I mentioned earlier, South Korea's Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun has resigned on Thursday after the turmoil and for his role in the declaration of the martial law order. North Korea and Russia defense treaty signed by Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin in June came into force on Wednesday with the exchange of ratification instruments in Moscow. The Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty binds the two nations to provide military aid without delay if either is attacked and to jointly resist Western sanctions, amid allegations from the US and South Korea that North Korea has sent over 10,000 soldiers to aid Russia and Ukraine. Both nations face heavy UN sanctions. Putin praised the agreement as a breakthrough, while Kim reaffirmed unwavering support for Russia's sovereignty. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te held a telephonic conversation with US House Speaker Mike Johnson on Thursday. The call came when President Lai is on a trip to the Pacific nations that include stops in Guam and in Hawaii. But China on Thursday warned the United States not to cross the first red line when it came to Taiwan's independence. China considers democratically governed Taiwan its own territory and has condemned the United States for allowing Lai to transit its territory. However, President Lai rejects China's sovereignty claims. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz said on Wednesday that Israel had pressured Hamas to the extent that a hostage deal with the Iranian-backed group might be possible. Speaking to soldiers at an Air Force base in central Israel, Katz said that due to increasing military pressure, there is a chance that this time we will really be able to advance a hostage deal.
Regarding Gaza, the most important thing today in war in general is to return hostages home. This is the ultimate goal that stands before our eyes, and we are working in every way to make this happen. There is a chance that this time we will really be able to advance a hostage deal, and we are working on this matter and see this goes before our eyes. Of course, in future, Hamas cannot control Gaza. This is absolutely clear because of what has happened and because of what may happen.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar on the sidelines of the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Malta on Thursday. However, leaders did not make any remarks about the meeting. Blinken said on Wednesday that ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon was still holding, adding that any purported violation of the agreement that may have occurred were being addressed through a dedicated mechanism. Facing pressure from international community on atrocities against minorities, Bangladesh's interim government chief advisor Mohammed Yunus held a meeting with political parties on Wednesday in Dhaka on how to deal with the emerging situation. However, he did not call opposition Awami League and its allies in the meeting. As lawlessness and mobocracy continued in Bangladesh, every day Hindu minorities are persecuted, physically assaulted, property destroyed and their religious places vandalized. Yunus has also been holding a meeting with religious leaders this evening. But that meeting will also not be represented by those from the minorities. The move seems to dodge the international opinion forming against its failure in running the administration and maintaining law and order while bowing before radical elements. Insiders say that the interim government chief advisor is reluctant to take any responsibility on his administration. Instead, he puts the onus of unrest on opposition and Sanatan leaders. Recently, many international leaders had condemned increasing atrocities against minorities in Bangladesh, especially against Hindus. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies in OPEC Plus are meeting on Thursday and are likely to extend output cuts until the end of the first quarter of next year. Without a new agreement, the 8 countries, which have been making voluntary additional production cuts of 2.2 million barrels per day, are currently set to begin increasing production at the start of January to gradually return to 2022 levels. Algeria, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Oman, Russia, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have already twice pushed back the production increases that were said to have begun in October and then in December. Bitcoin rose above $100,000 for the first time on Thursday as the election of Republican Donald Trump as President of the United States spurred expectations that his administration will create a friendly regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies. Trump on Wednesday said he would nominate lawyer Paul Atkins to run the Securities and Exchange Commission, which would be a relief for Wall Street and the crypto industry. Bitcoin has more than doubled in value this year and is up about 45% in the 4 weeks since Trump's sweeping election victory. More than 16 years after its creation, Bitcoin appears on the cusp of mainstream acceptance. According to Swiss Re's report, natural disasters caused $310 billion in global economic losses in 2024, marking a 6% increase from 2023. Insured losses swelled by 17% year-on-year to $135 billion US, driven by hurricanes in the US and severe flooding in Europe. This is the 5th consecutive year insured losses have exceeded $100 billion. Swiss Re attributed the rising costs to urban value concentration, economic growth and higher rebuilding expenses. The report also highlighted the severe impacts of climate change, with 2024 on track to be the hottest year ever recorded. Now, India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT platforms. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you want to get great content for free, then do download Waves today. That's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can keep tuning into DD India for all the latest.